Hey guys, welcome back. Got two more battles to show you guys. Right now we're sitting at 1973. So this is actually the first battle where I've went up against a Mega Blaziken. I'm assuming people run it the same way they did back in the X and Y era. Usually it's speed boost, obviously, protect turn 1, then you usually have like Flare Blitz, Close Combat, Brave Bird, stuff like that. I've seen some with Swords Dance. I don't really know what's meta right now, but something I'm noting here is that they have an Alolan Ninetales, so I want to try to stop them from getting Snow up. They also have a Sylveon, which is why I'm bringing in the Metagross. But overall, I think we can deal with this team pretty well. I always like to bring in our Chaladon when I'm going up against teams that have Aerodactyl. The usual Aerodactyl moveset favors our Chaladon pretty well. It's either going to be Rock Slide, which is basically a free defense boost, or Dual Wing Beat, which is a double defense boost for free. And usually when they set up Tailwind, it's not too big of a factor because I'm not running a really fast team anyway. Sitting at a 5 win streak right now. We're doing pretty good. Just hoping to keep it going. So they do bring out the Ninetales and the Blaziken. Like I said before, I'm predicting Blaziken to protect here and just get the free speed boost. My Mega Metagross would outspeed him without it. But in the case that he doesn't protect, I'm going to go ahead and set up a Reflect here. Blaziken's really the only one that can threaten my Metagross. Ninetales doesn't have any moves that can really do any significant damage. But I am going to go for the Iron Head in the case that they try to set up Aurora Veil. There's multiple ways I could stop that. I could Parting Shot into Pelipper and set up Rain. But I really want to get these screens up. So they do Mega Evolve. Okay, and we get no Protect, so we're going to be able to get a Iron Head off on this Ninetales. Moonblast is okay. Alolan Ninetales really doesn't have a high special attack stat. That's why it relies so heavily on Blizzard. So we get the one shot. It wasn't sashed or anything. It was probably Light Clay if I had to imagine. So getting that out of there is really good. Now we have full control of the weather. He does hit me with a Flare Blitz, but thanks to the Reflect, we survive it. He's going to take a decent chunk of recoil damage there, which is good. So he is now faster than us, so we kind of have to play cautious. He could easily finish off my Metagross, but we're going to see what he brings in here. So he brings in King Gambit. So there's a couple ways that you can go about this. Obviously, the play that I'm thinking most of is the Sucker Punch into Metagross. That's just an easy way to get him out of there, and he could Flare Blitz my Grimmsnarl. But I'm really banking on the Sucker Punch, so I'm going to switch out to my Chaladon. So he does go for it. We get a Parting Shot off on the Blaziken. Really makes him less of a threat, and then we can bring in our Pelipper and get the weather the way that we want it. close combat does basically nothing. Does break our sash though, which kind of sucks. I think a max attack, Black Glasses, King Gambit's Sucker Punch could take out our Pelipper. Setting up Tailwind here doesn't really do me any favors. Even with it, we're not going to outspeed a Blaziken if he survives this turn. And we're already faster than King Gambit. So I decided to go with a Weather Ball on the King Gambit and a Electro Shot on the Blaziken. The idea here is that if he switches in anything from the King Gambit spot, I think what he has remaining, not really sure if that's the ideal play, but yeah, I was thinking maybe he would want to switch out his Blaziken to get rid of the defense drops, and 2 of the 3 Pokemon that he could possibly have in the back would be weak to Electro Shot. So the odds were in our favor there, just in case he did switch out, and it works out here. He brings in his Basculegion. A lot of people are running this with Focus Sash lately. So yeah, that'll bring him down to his Sash, which is good. Got that out of the way. And he's gonna hit us with a Kowtow Cleave. Okay, we take that pretty well. Reveals that he has Life Orb, which is not good for him. But the fact that he ended up on 21% health is kind of convenient. So right here, I'm thinking he might try to Sucker Punch the Pelipper now, since he's low enough for that to KO. I don't think an Aqua Jet from the Basculegion would take out Pelipper, since we still have Reflect up. So we're gonna go for a Tailwind here. And he does go for the Sucker Punch. So I really wanted to get the Tailwind up, because now that his Blaziken was switched out, it's lost all of its speed boosts. So now Tailwind does kind of matter. And we go for another Electro Shot. But he does protect. But he's not going to be able to do that next turn. Still assuming he's going to Sucker Punch the Pelipper, so we're going to go for a Protect. And try to get rid of this Basculegion. If he doubles into Archaludon, we'll get some defense boost. I don't think they'll be able to do enough to take him out. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the Basculegion, which is great. So he actually doubled into the Pelipper, which is kind of weird. I don't know why he would go for an Iron Head there, unless he was predicting me to swap out back into Grimmsnarl. Yeah, I'm not sure. We do have 1 turn of Rain left, and I would like to keep that up to prevent this Blaziken from getting too crazy with its Fire-type moves. So we're going to swap this Pelipper out, bring in the Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is probably our least important Pokemon at this time, so if he goes down, it's okay. I'm not really going to sweat it. We're going to try to get rid of this Blaziken since it's the main threat. He goes for a Sucker Punch again. That was really the only move that he had. If he tries to predict the switch out again and goes for an Iron Head, I could outspeed him and just take him out for free. And since we still have Tailwind up, we're able to knock the Blaziken out. And that's pretty much a wrap on this battle. Yeah. So, get us another win, extend the streak to 6, which is really nice. And I think we're just one win away from 2,000, which would be really cool. So we're just going to hop into this next battle. Sitting at 1985. Really chasing that champion rank. I wasn't able to hit it in the first 2 seasons, so if I could hit it in this season, that'd be awesome. Okay, so I've went up against a team like this before, and it's really hard to deal with. Mega Pyroar is actually really underrated. Its ability makes it very deadly. Especially if they get Sun set up, man. Like, it'll one-shot just about anything. So, Pelipper's a must here. We're going to need screens to minimize damage. Kind of have to bring in Metagross here instead of Swampert because they have access to Solar Beam. They got a Venusaur. They got a Sylveon. Swampert just wouldn't work here. Alright, our opponent is 2026 rated. That's pretty good. Lead off with Venusaur and Sylveon. First thing going through my head right now is obviously they don't want to keep Sylveon in here. They could easily switch out into their Ninetales, take a resisted Iron Head, get the speed boost on their Venusaur and start hitting me with Sleep Powders. Usually when you see a Venusaur on a Sun team, that's usually what their tactic is. So I'm predicting Sylveon to switch out or protect here, and we need to get this Venusaur gone because if we're asleep, there's going to be nothing that we can do. We're going to Mega Evolve here. Okay, they do protect with the Sylveon. I saw that one coming. Land the Psychic Fangs, that would have one-shot if they weren't Focus Sashed. It's pretty good to know. I don't think I've went up against the Venusaur with my Mega Metagross yet, so that's not a calculation that I accounted for, so that's good knowledge to have. Alright, they do hit us with the Sleep Powder. Pretty frustrating, but they don't have their fire types out yet, so it's not a big deal. We still have some things that we can do here. I don't think an Earth Power from Venusaur would hurt too bad. Gonna Parting Shot the Sylveon since they just protected, they're likely not gonna protect again. So it's basically a guaranteed land for the Parting Shot. Okay. I didn't necessarily predict the Sludge Bomb there, but that works out. Gonna try to Iron Head the Sylveon here and get it out of here. And we need to get rid of that Venusaur. If we can get them down to their last two, and they do have Ninetales in the back, they're not going to be able to reset Sun once I bring out Pelipper. So getting them down to their last two is very important here. Switch out. In comes the Mega Pyroar. We are guaranteed to wake up next turn with the Metagross. Our Jalodon's asleep, that's pretty annoying. I'm gonna go with Sidekick Vings into Venusaur here. Kind of predicting him to switch out to his Ninetales, but it was just revealed to us that Venusaur was faster than our Jalodon. So if he switches into his Ninetales and I switch into my Pelipper, my switch in will go second. So we're guaranteed to set up Rain here. And that'll really help with the attack from the Mega Pyroar that's coming. Okay, so they do not switch out. Does go for the Heat Wave, misses Pelipper, which is cool. That still did a crap ton of damage. Oh, it was a crit. Okay. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, Venusaur's gone, so we don't have to worry about sleep powders anymore. But that did a huge chunk of damage. Ninetales comes in, sets up Sun. I think I want to protect here with my Metagross. And we need to get Pelipper out of here so it can come in and reset Rain at some point. Grimmsnarl's our least important member. At this point, his only attacking move doesn't really do anything to these two. I'm expecting this to be a whole lot of back and forth with the Pelipper and the Ninetales now to see who can keep control of the weather. Probably going to get hit with a double Heat Wave here. Ooh, Weather Ball, even worse. Okay, took that pretty well. I know Alolan Ninetales doesn't really have a high special attack stat. Not too sure about Ninetales. But we do avoid the Heat Wave from the Pyroar, that's pretty cool. I can bring Pelipper in again and set up Rain, but I don't think my Metagross outspeeds his two Pokemon. So Metagross might just be a loss here. Gonna try to get the special attack of this Pyroar down. I think I bring in our Jalodon here. I think that's what makes sense to me. Kind of want to keep the Metagross in the back for the Sylveon later. Our Chaladon does okay with dealing with Sylveon, but if we can just one-shot it and get it out of there, it would be great. So, he goes for a Weather Ball in the Metagross, but we switched in Pelipper. Tanked that pretty well. Goes for a Hyper Voice. So that tells me he was predicting me to bring in Pelipper there. Or maybe he was just covering his bases. Okay, he's gonna go for another Weather Ball. Hyper Voice takes out our Pelipper. That is not good. I'm also not very educated on Mega Pyroar stats, because if I'm being honest, I also thought that it wasn't going to be that good, so I never really looked into it. But it took that Electro Shot a lot better than I thought it would. Gonna bring in Metagross, try to bait some moves away from our Chaladon. I'm expecting him to switch out his Ninetales here, so he can bring it back in and set up Sun. So he actually switches out the Pyroar. I did not see that coming. I don't know why he wouldn't switch out the Ninetales here to set up Sun again. It's a weird call. We're going to bring the Sylveon down to 50%. That's great because that means another Electro Shot will take it out. I think we just lose Metagross here. He's going to get outsped by the Ninetales. So I think I need to focus on the Sylveon here. Or I could go for the Ninetales and just, you know, if he switches out to Pyroar, I take that out. If he doesn't switch out, I remove his ability to reset the Sun again. He is going to take out the Metagross. But we're going to get his Sylveon here. Really surprised he didn't bring out the Ninetales there. Or switch it out. I think if he reset the Sun, it basically guarantees them a win. Because like I said earlier, Grimmsnarl only has one attacking move, and it's a Fairy type move. It's not going to really do anything to them. I think that's a big misplay by my opponent. One turn of rain left, so he may try to stall it out. But we can set up screens again. I can go for an electro shot. If they double protect, I still get the special attack boost. Also thinking that maybe the Ninetales has Sunny Day and it's just been hiding it the whole time. If I go with electro shot here and he does in fact have Sunny Day, then it's basically game over. So we're gonna Dragon Pulse instead into the Ninetales. If he uses Sunny Day, we should get the KO. But okay, cool. That right there is pretty big, so now all I have to do really is continue to double into the Pyroar. Spirit Break isn't going to do a lot, but it'll lower his special attack each time. So either way, he doesn't really have a good option here. Goes for an overheat, kind of scary. Yeah, and that's GG's. Alright. I feel like I dealt with that Mega Pyroar team a lot better than I did the first time I encountered it. Pretty sure I lost the first time. I just didn't know how they plan to play it, but we do hit over 2,000 on our rating, so that's really cool. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll make it to champion tier here pretty soon.